Hi everyone, this is Lynsie. Today I'm going to demonstrate a variation of shoulder stand. This variation is a supported shoulder stand, which is really great for beginners as well as anyone that's suffering from any shoulder injuries or chest injuries or perhaps any neck discomfort. Keep in mind though, this is still not a pose if you have high blood pressure. But this pose has actually been called the queen of all poses, and it's been titled this because it has so many amazing health benefits, a few of which include stimulating our lymphatic system, our nervous system, our circulatory system. It helps decrease anxiety and depression. It will help with sleep, so any of you that suffer from insomnia or irregular sleep patterns, this is a beautiful pose to do right before you go to bed. And again, because it's a supported variation, it is accessible to most of us, and it can also enable us to stay in the pose longer. Therefore, the longer we stay in the pose, the more of those benefits we get. So there are other benefits of the pose, and I'll list those below so you can read through them at your leisure. But let's just go ahead and get started. Okay, so for today, what we're going to need are 2 blocks and perhaps a folded blanket. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually come onto your back, and on your back, you're going to just place your head onto the blanket. I'm only going to do 1 blanket because I don't need a lot of support for this one, for this variation of shoulder stand. And I'm going to keep my shoulders off of the blanket. So my shoulders are just right there at the edge. And then I'm going to take my 2 blocks. I'm going to press through my heels and lift my hips. And just place 1 block right underneath my sacrum. The sacrum is that triangular bone right there at the base of the spine. And I'm going to lift the hips a little bit, move my sits bones towards the back of my knees so I can feel the sacrum fully press down into the block. And leaving my arms by my side, I'm just going to lift my legs to the sky. Okay? Pretty simple. And I'm moving my head side to side, but I don't recommend that. Because I'm actually in a supported variation, it's not as much of a concern to move my head because I'm supported here. But if you were in the full variation, definitely don't move your head. So from here, you can determine whether or not 1 block is sufficient. If you feel like you want a little bit more height and you have the opening in your hips and your shoulders to do this, you can place 2 blocks underneath you. Again, lift the hips, move the sits bones towards your back of the knees, and then lift the legs to the sky. So you want to be as comfortable as possible, and just gazing up at one point, perhaps at your big toes, or your shins or your knees. Just try to keep your eyes steady. And then from here, you can pump the legs a little bit, helping the lymphatic system a little bit more, just by rocking the heels to the sky and the balls to the feet. Or you can do circles with the ankles in both directions. But eventually coming to stillness. And we work up to holding this pose for longer and longer durations. Hopefully working up to 3 to 10 minutes even, so that we can receive the full benefits. You notice that my neck still has a natural curve to it, because you don't want to jam the chin into the chest. You actually want the chest to move towards the chin and keeping the curve of the neck. It's natural, so you can be comfortable and soften the shoulders down into the floor. There's very little effort involved here. So for those of us that need this support, perhaps after a very long day, or because we're modifying to support the body, that might be recovering from an injury, or perhaps this is just new to us, this is really a great pose. And then you just start to focus on your breath. Again, nice long breaths, breathing in through the nose, and breathing out through the nose. If breathing this way is comfortable for you, see if you can actually elongate the exhale a little bit, and that's going to help increase that state of calm, that feeling of relaxation. Again, holding somewhere between 3 and 10 minutes, depending on your own body and the time that you have available to you. And you're ready, you come out the same way you came in. Bending the knees, placing the feet on the floor. Lifting the hips and just sliding the blocks out of the way. And just moving your sits bones towards the back of the knees, the spine is nice and long as you come down. And if you like from here, you can rock the hips side to side. Or you can even slide the legs away and take a few moments here, just to let everything be integrated into the body fully. Taking as much time as you need here. And then bringing the knees into the chest. Rolling over to one side. And just gently pressing yourself all the way back up to your seat. Again, just taking a moment at the end of these big postures just to see how you feel. Like closing your eyes, feeling into the state of your being in this moment. And always just taking a moment to add on a gesture of gratitude, a thought of gratitude, a feeling of gratitude for whatever benefits you've received. Okay. Namaste.